able to really stave off all this aggression. And they're still going on the top side. They're leaving the Lord for way later.
So what's the plan now? The Lord is marching still. They still have 2 waves. It doesn't collapse at the right time, but it still is a push from 2 ends. There's still a tower in the bottom side, however. What is Geek waiting for? Is that a diversion? Oh no!
Oh! Diversion into the heavy spin, and Rad finds the pin onto Luke, but they're on another man's base. A boy finds a kill. That's Finn as well. That's 2. A greedy play from RRQ into the base of Geek Fam, and it did not pay off. Luckily for them, no shutdown, so they don't lose too much.
Wow, that came out of nowhere. I mean, we were thinking about it being a possibility, but it was just a bit too fast. And really, with the Lord coming in, they could have at least timed it, right? So that Geek Fam would have to lose a lot of HP in that base tower on the bottom side. But as you mentioned, Mirko, no shutdowns, still 4K gold ahead. And for the most part, Geek Fam haven't really been able to find a winning solution, right? Front to backs has been going for RRQ. Neutral objective timing has been for RRQ. Even pickoffs, RRQ has had the better chance because they have a heavy spin that can be used defensively, aggressively, in a team fight, or even for pickoffs. And they are just using that as a flexible tool, like a Swiss Army knife.
They also have Clay with the diversions to facilitate those kinds of interactions from happening. So Geek have been falling behind on literally every single aspect. We see a diversion play here. They don't necessarily find anyone just yet. They will be accompanying Skylar, maybe utilizing him as bait, but Geek, they don't take the bait.
You're playing it super safe. And let's remember, last season, Geek Fam were notorious for just staying in the base, weather the storm again and again, and then wait for the eventual comeback. This could be what they are planning on doing right here. With RRQ going on the Lord, though, you can see some maneuvers coming in from Geek Fam, trying to find some control.
Again, right, despite RRQ holding control, like you mentioned, Arashi, Ray is also level 13, so he's been able to catch up to Irad. So if they want to go for a 50-50, is it possible? Is Chidera ready for this team fight? Is a boy ready for this team fight, right? Because it really does depend on both of these players.
Ooh. Pushing Don to the bottom side.
Yep. Pushing Don to the bottom lane. Now Finn can go for an engage. Heavy spin into the back with the Black Dragon form used up as well. Irad secures the Lord for free. Geek Fam on the march, trying to look for a pickoff, something back, any sort of trade, but RRQ deny it.
It's insane how they played that, right? Because the best case scenario is Geek are able to kind of fend off the initial attack coming in from RRQ, let them waste all their resources, but in that amount of time, it's enough for them to go burst in the Lord. So there was absolutely no opportunity for them to go for it.
I think the RRQ mainly, they weren't really planning. They didn't think that the Youth Song would have won them the fight immediately from there. But the fact that you're trying to set up for a Lord fight out of nowhere on a 90-degree flank angle, a Black Dragon form just shows up. I think that definitely shook Geek Fam a bit, and that is what RRQ used to just immediately just burst down that Lord. Now with the Lord coming in, they're still not going for a 3-wave push, but they're making a play for the base turrets.
3-wave spin with a flicker forward with the final slash, but it gets baited into the base turret. Now as Ray is able to lock him down under the base turret. Finn with immortality, melted down by Chidera, but the enhanced Lord has done work. Up top, it's a base turret taken, and RRQ instantly disengaged. Geek Fam though, they want to continue. Luke marches on forward, but notices that RRQ have dispersed a bit too fast.
So let's go back and circle to that question, right? We're already at 14 minutes. Can Geek defend this? Do they have enough in Chidera, and do they have enough in a boy?
Chidera and a boy? I mean, Chidera can shred down the Lord if it's being used. A boy can clear relatively well, and with the Eternal Guard being an extra factor in the fights, I think we're looking, like you mentioned, Eternal, like you predicted, at a very long game, potentially. Skylar is a 2,600 gold ahead, already at full items, but Chidera only 1 item behind right here. I think that healing becomes a big problem here for RRQ. Florin, the longer the game goes, will be able to have technically more healing and a lot lower cooldowns as well. So I think for RRQ, they have to really try and strategize and find a way to get a surprise play in the base. As I really talked about how Geek is just so good at just defending again and again.
So late game?
Late game will favor. I would put my money on Geek fan when it comes to the late game. When it comes purely to like a 5v5 collision, which is why I feel like RRQ will have to find ways to get a big Black Dragon form or a big heavy spin or diversion play before they can really claim that victory that they so desperately want.
You probably take some more free enhanced lords, but I think that ultimately will be only for them to pick up 1-2 base turrets, right? But the ultimate end angle for RRQ is either a team fight or an evolved lord. That's when Geek fam are forced to answer.
That's a diversion. Yuzong is at the bottom of the map, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out for him. Chidera is positioned in perfect way.
Vin gets locked down by the lord that knocked him up. Now Ray in the midst of it all. It's going to be done. Rises to the back, but Eternal Guard catches him. Mortality used. Chidera also with nature, but look at the choke point now with Luke able to find the Donra Wolf King around with a heavy spin, is trying his best to get rid of the Geek fan members. RQ dispersed. Luke finds the I'm offended, but now Skylar goes in for a different play, fighting Voloisky, but will lose his life with Geek fan chasing. It seems Skylar is still able to survive. He runs away with a GDS movement speed, but it has to spawn up top. Geek fan know it. They want to take the big plays. This might be the end. In the mid lane, marching down. I'm offended on the Skylar knockup.
Oh no!
They're chasing Skylar, but he has the GDS once again. Now the enhanced minion waves come down. And so does Vin. Dawn 4 seconds, Irad 11. An Eternal Guard. Trying to spot out the diversion. Ray walks up. Skylar is running for the hills for a boy, but he might be caught now. A boy running too far from his team. That Skylar picks up an unstoppable, a bait, and an elimination for Skylar.
That was a mid laner traded for a mid laner ultimately, but look at RRQ marching down in the mid lane. Skylar is still available. Vin and Dawn are on the way as well. These base turrets are going to be falling with everything on the line.
They find Luke with final slash, and I'm offended, not connecting. RRQ slowly but surely marching down the Kingslayer's base. That's the best done. From boy, Luke with the Donra King with the Black Dragon form gets used up, and Ray is going to be isolated with a heavy spin. Finn also isolated in the back. Ray still able to survive right now as he gets so much sustain. Meanwhile, Finn, he cannot say the same thing. He shall crumble under the 3 members of Geek fam.
2 base are taken by RRQ. Look at the goal difference. Geek fam is closing it, and this is the signature Geek fam, the defense every single time when they know that the backs are clear, are safe from any play. We've seen that when it comes to items, a boy and Chidera now output damage that RRQ cannot ignore, and Skylar, being the early game hero that he is really struggling to keep up with the damage output from Chidera, especially in these short bursts of engagements that are reliant on big ultimates like the Black Dragon form, like the heavy spin. With 2 base towers, they can still go for a great play, a diversion maybe for a big flank, or just go for the Lord. But now it's scarier and scarier, less guaranteed as the seconds go by.
But even then, right, 30 seconds next for the next Lord to spawn, but look at the position that it's spawning in, right? It's on the bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, RQ were able to get that inhibitor in the top side, so that in itself is working in favor of RRQ, with the fact that they still have the Luo Yi to play around with the macro. They have the Yuzong as well in case they want to go for it. This is going to take extra amount of brainwaves from the Triple B to work out this macro, to work out this Lord dance.
For sure. Looking at the items as well, Ray going for all ability-based physical damage reduction, and Athena, and also he knows there's going to be ultimate-based damage coming in from Skylar, from Ray. He needs to be that extra front line because Voloisky is not a TP initiate or counter engage. So right now it comes especially short trades, the Florian healing now becomes a big problem. Because even if Aura can chuck someone down to half HP, unless they can really seal the deal and take him out, put him death timer down, it won't be enough. But with the waves pushing the top side, RRQ, they're trying to play this as calculatively as possibly do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this possibly could be the last Lord of this best of 5 series. The way that this goes down is imperative to the success of the entire organization at MPL ID Season 13. And if they still want a chance to make it to MSC, the pressure is there. The chaos is looming. The waves are pushing. And the Lord gets reset.
RQ, maybe a bit too cautious. Maybe a bit over. Respectful! Two-man, I'm offended, right into the stun. Terra trying to go for some damage, and the platform gets used up, but that's all just a bait. Fam want to utilize these buffers. Get as much value as possible. Ray very low, the Bloom still ready. Diversion to the back line as well. There might just be looking for the end right now. The heavy spin gets used up as well, but Geek fans are forced back in the mid lane. The boy is able to clear it out. The Eternal Guard, Skylar not able. They got enough dash to work the to clear out fast enough. Momentum, pendulum, all swinging back in favor of Geek fans slowly but surely. Now he's chasing Skylar, but he has that GS movement speed. Both teams once again. They stand by.
That was dangerous, man. A boy though, able to leave. What the hell? Now he's back to Lord Dance, but now look at the wave on the top. It's meeting so much further outside of the base for Geek. They have decent control right here.
The damage based on the loop by the Lord. This is the board. They'll be taking so much damage from finals. Not protecting Finn, gonna be stunned earlier. Eternal Guard knocking a rat up, doing some poke damage. Black Dragon was help. This is a window of opportunity. Five. The Petra in his head. The Measures. Ray by the Iran, and he gets the retribution. All objectives have gone to the Kings. All the red trees have gone to Iran, but the one that mattered, might have gone to Ray, might have gone to the Kingslayers.
Iran and Dawn, they fall. And with them, possibly the entire kingdom will go down with them. 3 waves are pushing. Ladies and gentlemen, this Lord is marching down in the mid lane. 20 seconds left the clock for Irad. 17 seconds on the clock. Ray still needs to work down in the top side. Oh, but there they go!
And then finally played. Only Skylar, the Crown Prince in his own place, left to defend. They will slay the Kings. 7-0. Proceeding to 8-0. The Kingslayers continue their reign.